Before banners were raised, and before crowns were hardened by war, there was an age when kingdoms stood one season from ruin. In those days, power passed through bloodshed, and dread entered cities long before armies. It was during this age that King Xavier III, weary of conquest and unwilling to rule through fear, sought another way. He did not dream of peace born from weakness, but of order forged through proof. To this end, he turned to the Greeks, keepers of civic law, sacred contest, and the belief that leadership must answer to the people it governs. Together, they did not invent a tournament, but gave form to an ancient instinct that strength, when measured openly, could replace war. Thus, the first Colosseum was raised, not as a spectacle of slaughter, but as a covenant. Champions would contend in ritual combat, and victory would grant stewardship, not dominion. Rule would last only until the following spring, when power would be surrendered and tested anew. What began as a safeguard became an invitation. Treaties followed where invasions once marched. Neighboring kingdoms were offered protection, not through conquest, but through adoption into this new democracy of steel and oath. Each realm brought its own champions, its own traditions of war and restraint, all bound by the same law. Disputes of rule would be settled in the Colosseum, not upon the fields of the innocent. As centuries passed, the covenant grew. Warriors of many ages entered the ritual, some drawn by bloodlust, others by belief. Those who craved violence found their fury contained within the arena. Those who sought restraint, orders such as the Templars, entered for cause and conscience, believing that power must answer to something greater than the sword. Thus, exile was no longer a single contest, nor a single kingdom's right. It became a global mandate. Kings were no longer absolute. They were accountable, not only to their people, but to one another. Multiple crowns endured under shared law, governed by the understanding that no ruler stands untested, and no reign is eternal. The Colosseum did not end conflict. It bound it. And so, through ritual instead of ruin, the world learned a different inheritance, that leadership is proven, that power is temporary, and that history itself may be rewritten. This is exile, not a tournament that survived history, but the institution that shaped it.